Why dogs wait at the door every day, the quiet psychology of love. Every day, somewhere in the world, a dog is lying beside a door, listening more carefully than any clock. It does not know how to read time, yet it somehow knows when someone is missing. To many people, this looks like a simple habit. But in the heart of a dog, waiting is rarely simple. It is love with nowhere else to go. It is loyalty turned into silence. It is hope stretched across long hours. And sometimes, in that quiet body resting by the door, there's a story about attachment, trust, fear, and a kind of devotion humans do not always deserve. A dog waiting at the door is one of the simplest sights in the world, and somehow one of the most moving. There is no grand gesture in it, no dramatic sound, just a body curled near the entrance, ears lifting at small noises, eyes opening each time footsteps pass. But if you have ever lived with a dog, you know that moment carries more emotion than it seems. They are not only waiting for a person to come home, they are waiting for their safe place to feel complete again. Dogs are social animals by nature. Long before they became our companions, they survived by staying close to their group. In a dog's heart, being together means safety, warmth, routine, and peace. So when their favorite human leaves, even for a few hours, something in their world becomes unfinished. The home still smells familiar, the bed is still in the same place, the water bowl is full. Yet one important piece is missing, and dogs notice absence with surprising depth. That is why many of them settle near the door. The door is not just wood, metal, or a place people pass through. To a dog, it is the line between together and apart. It is the place where their person disappeared, and the place where love is expected to return. So they wait there, not because they are being dramatic, but because, in their own honest way, that is the most logical place for hope. Some dogs do this quietly. Others sigh, pace, circle, then finally lie down like tiny security guards who forgot they are off duty. Some pretend to nap, but somehow hear the exact car door from half a street away. It is almost rude how good they are at recognizing the sound of the one person they love most. You can open 3 different snack wrappers and get no reaction, but one familiar set of footsteps outside, and suddenly they are a full orchestra of tail wags and happy panic. What looks cute on the surface is also deeply emotional underneath. Dogs build strong attachments through repetition. The person who feeds them, walks them, talks to them, laughs near them, and returns again and again becomes more than a caretaker. That person becomes part of the dog's emotional map of the world. Waiting, then, is not only habit, it is a reflection of bond. It says, in the language of a dog, "My day makes sense when you are here." And perhaps that is what makes this image touch people so deeply. Because hidden inside that dog by the door is a quiet truth many humans understand too. When someone we love leaves, even an ordinary room can feel a little incomplete. That is why some dogs return to the doorway again and again. They are not confused. They are staying near the place where reunion begins, because love for them is physical, faithful, and beautifully literal, even on the longest quiet, ordinary afternoons. What makes this waiting even more touching is that dogs are not only responding to routine, they are also reading emotion. Anyone who has lived closely with a dog has seen this in small, unforgettable moments. On happy days, they bounce toward you with loose bodies and bright eyes, as if your joy is contagious. On difficult days, they often become softer. They sit closer. They rest their chin on your knee. They follow you from room to room with unusual calm, like quiet little therapists who work entirely for treats and eye contact. This sensitivity helps explain why waiting at the door is often about more than simple expectation. Dogs do not just remember that someone usually comes home at a certain hour. They remember what that person feels like, their voice, their rhythm, their energy, the way the house changes when they enter. Dogs are deeply tuned to patterns, but the pattern that matters most is emotional presence. Your arrival is not just an event, it is a shift in atmosphere. That is also why dogs can become sad when ignored. To people, silence can just mean being busy. To a dog, prolonged distance can feel confusing. They do not need constant entertainment, but they do need connection. A glance, a word, a touch on the head, those tiny moments tell them they still belong in your emotional world. When those moments disappear, many dogs do not react with anger. They react with quiet disappointment. They lie farther away. They become less playful. Some stare for a while, then place themselves near the door or window, as if searching for the version of you that usually comes back. There is something heartbreakingly innocent in that. Dogs do not measure love in complicated human ways. They measure it in nearness, consistency, tone, and return. Did you come back? Did you notice me? Did your hand reach for me the way it usually does? A dog may not understand the reason for your stress, but it understands when your warmth has gone missing. And because dogs are so loyal, they often keep offering love even when they feel a little hurt. This is also where fear of being left behind begins to appear. Some dogs wait at the door not only because they trust your return, but because part of them worries about your absence. Rescue dogs, especially, may carry this feeling more strongly. A closed door can stir old uncertainty. Even dogs raised in loving homes can become anxious when routines change too suddenly. Waiting then becomes both hope and self-comfort. If they stay near the place you vanished, maybe they will not miss the moment you come back. And still, there is something beautiful in the way they keep believing. Even after long afternoons, even after rainy evenings, even after those suspiciously slow grocery trips that somehow smell like fried chicken, they wait. Not because they are foolish, but because trust's stubbornly inside them. A dog by the door is not wasting time. It is practicing devotion in the simplest form it knows, staying close to the place where love last disappeared, and where with all its faithful heart, it believes love will return again. If dogs wear their hearts openly, cats often protect theirs behind elegance, timing, and a little theatrical dignity. Yet, when we talk about waiting, dogs teach us something beautifully clear about all companion animals. Love is often hidden inside the smallest repeated behaviors. A dog waiting at the door every day is not performing obedience. It is revealing attachment in its purest shape. No speech, no demand, no condition, just presence offered again and again. Maybe that is why these moments stay with people for so long. Years later, someone may forget 100 busy afternoons, but still remember the soft sound of paws on the floor before the key even touched the lock. They remember the tail hitting the wall like a drum, the spinning, the joyful whining, the absurd expression that says, with complete sincerity, "You have returned from the greatest adventure ever attempted," which was apparently buying vegetables. In those funny, ordinary reunions, something very tender happens. A dog reminds us that our existence matters in a way the world outside rarely says aloud. And perhaps that is the deeper reason dogs wait at the door. Not only because they miss us, but because they have built part of their emotional life around us. We become landmarks in their day. The morning goodbye, the afternoon silence, the evening return. These are not small things to them. They are the emotional architecture of home. Remove one piece, and the whole feeling changes. Bring it back, and warmth returns to the room almost instantly. For people who have ever lost a dog, this truth can be difficult and beautiful at once. Because after they are gone, the door can become strangely emotional for us too. We pass it and remember the eyes that once watched it faithfully. We unlock it and half expect the sound of claws skidding excitedly across the floor. In that absence, many people realize something profound. The dog was never just waiting at the door. The dog was welcoming them back into a bond that had quietly shaped daily life. There is comfort in understanding this. When your dog waits for you, it is not being needy in some childish sense. It is expressing trust, memory, and affection through the language it knows best. It waits because your presence regulates its world, because your return feels like relief, because your scent, your voice, your steps, even your slightly chaotic habit of coming home carrying too many bags at once, all of these have become part of what safety means. So the next time you see a dog resting near the door, looking up at every familiar sound, pause for a second before calling it just a habit. In that quiet waiting lives loyalty, longing, and something almost sacred in its simplicity. A dog waits at the door every day for the same reason some hearts never fully relax until a loved one is home. Because love at its most honest is often just this: remembering someone is missing and choosing to stay close to the place where they will return.